We think we're the premier destination for investors interested in investing in crypto. We custody the most crypto ETF assets in the industry. We are working on a plan to launch spot crypto in the next 12 months, ideally this year, but in the next 12 months. We have lots of ways for clients to get invested in crypto. They can buy the ETFs, and again, we're the #1 destination for doing that. They can buy Bitcoin futures. They can buy closed-end funds, which track the price changes of crypto. So there's lots of ways to get invested, and we have education around that. And what we saw in the fourth quarter of last year, when there was a real uptick in interest in crypto, is we saw a 400% increase in the traffic to our crypto site at Schwab. 70% of those people were prospects. And so what that says to me is that when clients become interested in crypto and they've learned more about it, the first place they want to turn is Schwab, because they trust us and they know we'll give them unbiased advice and that they can keep their assets safe with us.
Well, we've been planning for this for 6 years. We've been working to get our supply chain diversified outside of China. We brought as much inventory in before Inauguration Day as we could, just in case. But I don't think anyone saw 145% tariffs, as Secretary Bessent said, effectively a trade embargo. And so we are doing everything we can to shift some supply, to get some things here this year, to leverage things we have left over from last year. But we're just not going to have things to sell in the industry unless we can open things up, start producing again, and release finished goods that are held in China.
So what would be your bill based on like the status quo as of today if business was like last year?
We would have over $100 million in tariffs that we would have due. Last year we paid $1 million.
You'd pay $100 million.
Over 100.
That seems like a big increase.
It's a very big increase. That's if we brought everything we ordered this year in at today's rates. Now we have paused orders, we've canceled orders. We can't, there's no way we can do that. Could use this whole news segment and I'd only have like one little tiny part of a tree done.
Right. I understand based on trying to light a real tree,
And that's why people have, 4 out of 5 American households have artificial trees because they're pre-lit.
Yeah.
So we looked at doing it. The only way you can do that is if you can automate it somehow. We hired IDEO, who's like the Goldman Sachs of design. They invented the computer mouse. We could not figure it out. And so the best we could do, the price was about $3,000
for a tree?
to a consumer for a tree we might sell for $500 today. To the White House and to other departments. We're working the Hill as well, because people don't understand that Christmas is being produced now. Like if we don't restart production in the next few weeks, it's not a matter of it being crazy expensive. There's just not going to be things that are out there. And when I meet people like, oh, I have a Balsam Hill tree, I'm like, well, you might be able to make 50% profit on it if you sell it on eBay this Christmas, because there's just not going to be new items.
Yeah, about a third of the import volume, which means give or take about 50,000 20-foot equivalent units gone off the arrivals coming in next week.
So from next week is when you expect to see this really hit?
That's correct, and that matches up. The announcement's back on April 2nd, then on April 8th, a little bit of a change on everybody, ex-China, Mexico, Canada, and those arrivals are coming at us this weekend.
We'll, of course, dedicate time to your port, but I'm just wondering how you're anticipating this rolls and ripples through the economy from here, how it hits trucking, when this turns up on the shelf. What's the distance, the time, from when you see a drop-off in volume and when we, as consumers, see the shortages?
Right, so CEOs are telling me, hit the pause button, right? I'm not going to import anymore at these kind of prices. Let's wait and see. I don't know if it's going to be 2 hours, 2 days, or 2 weeks till I get some clarity. Then, hiring. Off the table for right now. Capital investment, pause. And the retailers are telling me that realistically, with even the 10%, I'm going to have to pass it on to the consumers.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And you know I come back with that video just to make you think.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
And make sure you're joining the Patrons. If you're not a part of the Patrons, make sure you're hitting the Cash App. And also, guys, make sure you go like and follow the TikTok. More videos to come. And we have Charles Schwab pushing adoption for crypto and targeting the younger generation. And we have the same big banks and big corporations leading crypto. And we know from the beginning they've been funding this digital space. Now we have Harmon from Balsam Brands on Trump's tariffs. Says that they'll go from 1 million last year to 100 million this year. And if Trump doesn't make a move this week or China doesn't make a move this week, Guys, we know we're going to be set up for the next black swan very soon. So all you have to do is get your popcorn, sit back, and let it play out. We'll see how long they let it persist. This week is going to be very important. But then also, he brings up automation. He can't do this tree without automation. And guys, well, that's definitely not true. If China can do it, you know we can do it too. And we have the ports down about a third of their shipments. Don't forget at the beginning of the year, we was in a threat for a port strike. So a lot of these corporations were getting in goods in the fourth quarter. So a lot of these big corporations had already prepared. That's why we have to sit back, get your popcorn, and let it play out. But when it comes to you, you want to make sure you get yourselves prepared at least 2 weeks, just in case. And remember, the crypto teacher told you. And this up-and-coming week, we have Jerome in the house. And yes, we still have inflation here. Jobs market, they act like it's still good. But guys, we know the jobs market is definitely weakening. We have people getting 2 and 3 jobs just to make it. And we're seeing petty crime going up. We know delinquencies are higher than 2008. And if these tariffs stay on, is this going to cause more inflation? Now, if the jobs number had came in weak, I wouldn't have been surprised if Jerome Powell had cut 25 basis points. But now, since we have good jobs to report, we have inflation decent, and we haven't felt any effect from the tariffs just yet, I see the Fed pausing. And then in the next meeting, if tariffs stay on, we know for a fact Jerome Powell is going to have to cut at least 25 basis points. And remember, the crypto teacher told you, and we know eventually Japan also has to make a move on interest rates. And of course, job openings, when it comes to these big corporations, they're pausing. So the labor market also is going to take another big hit. And then we have Warren Buffett meeting tomorrow. I probably won't be able to look at it until Sunday, but Berkshire Hathaway has $334 billion sitting on the sideline. And we know why. We know that crash is definitely coming. We know these companies are going to be hurting. And it's called buying things pennies on the dollar. We've seen this movie before. We are going to have a whole lot more consolidation going forward. And remember, the crypto teacher told you. Because he knows, when it comes to the NWO, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
So I've learned in my career, it's not a question of what I would do or how I would, what do I think they will do. And I think today, this Fed will wait, and I think this Fed will take its time. Like you saw, you look at this payroll data, and you take inflation that's running, depending on the metric you use. So let's say you use core CPI. I know they prefer core PCE, but if you use core CPI and you're running at the 3-month, 6-month moving average of 3%-ish, and then but pre-tariff, so you add another 30 or 40 there. Listen, it's not really an environment for that this Fed would interpret that and say, time to cut. So listen, I think the labor data will, we talked about around openings slowing. I think the labor data will open up the window as you get into the June meeting, or maybe a little later than that, to get a couple of cuts done. But I think interpreting that they're going to cut off of today's data, I think, is presumptuous. Numbers. And the interesting thing in the JOLTS report this week, look at job openings. That's actually, in some of the sectors I just identified, that's coming off. CEOs, CFOs are sitting in this point today. I'm just going to wait. I'm going to cut my job openings. I'm going to keep my labor in place in case the economy actually does okay and we get through some of these tariffs. But it's really interesting. Openings are coming down, so the delta is lower, but it's coming from a pretty solid place.
There's a lot of questions about Berkshire itself. Last we saw in the last quarter, $334 billion cash flow that they had built up. That's huge. That's more than double than what we had seen about 2 years ago. And I think there are so many questions about why they're doing that. Why are they building up? Do they know something we don't about the markets? Are they waiting for big opportunities to come because of market crashes? Be very interesting to hear that, see how much more the cash has grown when we get the earnings tomorrow morning. Wonder if they've been buying anything in the meantime, what their stock sales have done. Have they been net buyers or net sellers of stocks along the way? And then this transition too with Greg Abel really picking up more and more of the day-to-day operations and more of the businesses.
Going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
And so we'll import Chinese-based CBDC technology. So it's going to be CBDC in a box provided to you by the People's Bank of China.
But every stock, every bond, every currency, every commodity, every piece of art, every private business, every piece of real estate will eventually be a token on a blockchain, an entry on a ledger, permanent and immutable. We will have truth instead of trust, and we will save over $7 trillion a year. 6 to 8% of global GDP is wasted by the friction of the trust industry that's necessary when you have dual entry accounting. With triple entry accounting, which is what a blockchain is, we get rid of all of that friction. It's a beautiful future.
Like what you see in China and their social credit scoring systems, right? If we get identity wrong, it could be a tool to enslave humanity. And if we get it right, it could be a tool to liberate humanity. And as an American, I'm obviously rooting for the one that's on the side of freedom.
Bitcoin is an international asset. And also, I do believe the role of crypto is it's digitizing gold.
I actually believe this technology is going to be very important. Look at it. We have been part of a huge revolution in investing through ETFs. We believe that ETFs will be changing the whole way we invest. Many people still use it as a means, people are investing it for indexing. No, the majority of people who are putting money in in ETFs are active investors that are buying exposure. The entire bond market is being transformed as we talk right now. I believe the next generation for markets, the next generation for securities will be tokenization of securities. And if we could have that distributed ledger that we know every beneficial owner, every beneficial seller, we all have our code of who's buying, who's selling, instantaneous settlement. And think about it, it changes the whole ecosystem.
Chinese bank ICBC has been hit by a ransomware attack, and the U.S. Treasury market, as a result of that, has been disrupted. This, according to the Financial Times. We're getting at more right now with Bloomberg's Shonali Bassick. Shonali, what do we know?
Listen, we have the Financial Times now reporting that ICBC, one of China's largest banks here, was hit with a ransomware attack. And remember, they're a very significant intermediary in the Treasury market. The SIFMA has told its members that this has been part of the reason here that the system is kind of clogged up, if you will, during that auction that we saw a little bit before. The attack had prevented ICBC, according to the Financial Times, from settling Treasury trades on behalf of other market participants. A large executive at a major bank also telling the paper that such a large party on the fixed income clearing corp creates major concerns, potentially impacting the liquidity of Treasury markets.
Now, it was not just a poor auction. It was absolutely lousy, and when the dealers have to step in to save a treasury auction, that's a rare occurrence. And
Cryptoteacher and the New World Order book, plus the 3 Kids books. It's time to re-educate. Also, new to cryptos, Coinbase, Bitrue, Binance. Do not forget book links and crypto links are in the description. The stock channel, guys. Don't forget to go like, subscribe, spread everywhere. You have your Kobo, your chip stocks, your banking, your gaming. While everybody's sitting at home, get home stocks, the Seaver, the biotech stocks. And while everybody's at home wishing they were still getting that free money, what are they doing? drinking and smoking weed. Don't forget about those stocks, and you have a wonderful day. The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, you know I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids books. You know I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate, not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save New York from COVID-33. Part 3. King Joshua and Grandma Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.